Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and it's been an epic journey over the last couple of months working my way up the tech tree, playing the most overpowered vehicles at each tier, and today we're going to be playing tier 10, so I need to shake it off, try and step up my game as we're going to be in for a challenge with how tier 10 matchmaking is over Christmas, even though we're going to be playing the best tier 10 tanks in the game. So the way that I'm deciding what are the most overpowered vehicles are the vehicles that are increasing its owner's win ratio more than any other tank at its tier. And we can use win rate difference from Tanks GG to be able to see this. So without further ado, what is the best heavy tank that is increasing its player's win ratio more than any other vehicle? And we can see that is the Object 279E. Oh, so hello there, ladies and gentlemen. What you just saw was Uncle QuickyBaby coughing and forgetting to unmute his microphone 1 minute into what is a 35-minute video. So this was definitely, possibly the worst thing that could ever happen to any content creator. So I've decided that instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to annotate. I'm going to dub whatever Uncle QuickyBaby says. So you're just going to have to imagine him right now. I'm going to watch him for literally the next 35 minutes to let you all know about these vehicles, right? So the Object 279E, he's probably talking about why this vehicle is so good and why it's improving the win ratio of all of its players so much. Probably because it doesn't have a lower plate and because its armor is absolutely overpowered, and wargaming are very silly when it comes to balancing Soviet tanks, at least in the past. He's also now probably telling you that he's recording this video on the same day that Vinnie Jones was released inside the game, and so accordingly, he had to turn down all of the voice acting because I put Vinnie louder so you could all hear him. So now, I've got to stop saying, oh, now he's going to be saying this, and now he's going to be saying that, as if like I didn't just record this about an hour ago, and then go to edit it and just literally want to cry. But I thought that maybe this could end up being fun. I think it'll probably be more fun. So, the 279E. In this kind of a situation, I was debating about whether I wanted to use the turbo or whether I wanted to use the turbo or the durability device on this vehicle. And whenever I'm playing a map where I think that all of the fight is decided in a single location, then I'll always take the durability device on this vehicle. If I'm playing a map where I feel that I'm going to have to relocate after the early location, then I'll take the turbo on this vehicle. And a lot of people would probably want to drop vents and just use both and then not really have to think about that. But you know me, I'm a little bit of a weirdo with how I like vents on a lot of my vehicles. And it's been working out for me recently, having 3-marked the Super Conqueror and the BZ-75. Now, another thing that Uncle QuickyBaby wanted to tell you during the live gameplay here is the safe stowage directive that I think I pointed over towards, and I wanted to let you know just how good that safe stowage directive is. It actually triples or quadruples the effect of safe stowage inside the game. And so on a vehicle like the 279E, where you have quite a vulnerable ammo rack on this vehicle, and the last thing you want to do is to get popped when you're playing the most overpowered heavy tank in the game, then that directive, it'll cost you 10,000 credits if you buy it individually. But if you buy it in bulk, I buy 100 of them at the same time, you can get them for 9,000 credits a pop. And trust me, when you're playing the 279E, that's less than the cost of a premium consumable sold at half price. So I guess you could drop the large repair kit, use a small repair kit, and then you could afford to use yourself the directive in every single battle. And it'll basically mean that you don't get ammo racked. And in a vehicle like this, that makes a real big difference. So now Uncle QuickyBaby wanted to say that he was really worried about the IS-7. I can't believe I'm talking about myself in like a history here, like a third person, almost as if it's in the past. It is. The IS-7 was in a platoon, or is in a platoon, with the FE4005. And so the last thing that I wanted to do was to push forwards and be able to then expose myself to the FE405 as he dumped me at the back. So luckily I avoided that pitfall, didn't get trapped by the IS-7, and then that AMBT was in the wrong neck of the woods And at this kind of a point of the battle, it just feels like the enemies are just throwing themselves at me. And so I wasn't going to complain. If they want to throw themselves at me, that's absolutely fine. Especially when there's a platoon on the enemy team that we have to worry about. Now the FP405, that's the kind of tank that it doesn't matter how good your armor is, it's still an absolute threat. But most FP405s are firing HE, and so he's only going to do probably about 600 to 800 to my front. So as long as I can put a few shots in, I should be alright. We've got Patton the tank as well, has been very generously filling the matchmaker, making it really easy for everyone over the last couple of weeks. Or what should I say, over the last week? It didn't even come out that long ago. And I'm just trying to hope that Patton's going to mess up here. Now, I don't want to use my repair kit because I'm worried that I could just get locked down by the FE405 again. The I-7 comes around the corner and he's using the wrong kind of ammunition, so he's unable to go through the front of the 279E. Really, you just have to load gold on this vehicle and just fire at and the flattest plate that you could possibly find. I'm still so worried about the FE405. I look at the char, see if I can be able to get a cross shot as they're trying to run away. Can't manage that, so I'm going to have a go at the I-7 instead. And unfortunately, the FE405 comes over the corner and a one-shot. And oh no, 1,262. What was that? The char now rams themselves to death on the side of the vehicle, and QB gives some kind of sass about go play a better tank. You can't get a better tank than Char Future 4, Quacky Babs, you know that. And now, this Patton the tank does something that I didn't expect, crests the ridge, and then fires a gold round down on my hull armor from above.
Is it too late to blame the team?
I can't blame the team, Uncle QuickyBaby, when you are playing the most overpowered heavy tank in the game. Goodness gracious, boys and girls, what is this pathetic 3,700 combined in this outrageously good tank? QuickyBaby feels like a bit of an idiot for himself right now, talking about how the FE405, he high rolled 1,260 damage. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, well, hopefully my team is going to be able to get through that one. Oh no, did I just cough again? I can't mute the cough though inside this program. I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm getting sick. I just think like I have to admit, ladies and gents, this whole YouTube shenanigans of releasing videos every single day while also streaming so much, it's obviously just been putting so much pressure on my voice. All right, so we played the most overpowered heavy. Let's play the most overpowered medium. Well, I don't have the 907 or the Kara 45 as their Clan Wars tanks, so the actual 430U is increasing its players' win ratio by more than any other vehicle. Or shall we say it's actually just reducing their win ratio by less than all of the other vehicles. And why is that? Well, it's because the 430U just has great armor. It's just an idiot-proof kind of tank within that regard. 440 alpha, 340 millimeters of heat pen. It's an absolute solid tank, and you really can't go wrong with the Object 430U. Now, I like to play my 430U in a couple of ways. Both of them use a level 3, well, not both of the ways, but the main way uses a gunrammer vent. And wow, look, the 279E game actually comes out as a win. I didn't deserve to win that, but at least I got carried by my team playing that OP vehicle. But I like to use the experimental durability on the 430U. And the reason for that is, just like the 279E, it has really weak fuel tanks and a weak ammo rack. So by using the experimental durability, you can avoid all of those issues with the tank while also still making sure that your tracks are super healthy. So I'm going to tell my team now that I'm going to scout for them. I'm going to make my way across the mid, and you'll see that I've switched out my equipment. So I'm going to be using an exhaust with a commander's vision system with the bond vents. I'm telling my team here, hi friends, I will spot the middle at the start. Feel free to snipe. That's because I just feel so strongly that getting to the D4 area is the best thing that you could possibly do in a medium tank when you're playing Assault on Corellia. Now this is going to be a risk because there's an EBR 105 on the enemy team, so I've just got to hope that the EBR 105's not making their way across my side. But I really feel like committing here is what you want to do. Now the 430U actually has really good camo rating, but I got to be a little bit careful because I have my 430U, I believe, set up for Onslaught. And in Onslaught, I actually take the track repair time rather than and the reverse speed rather than taking the camo rating. So I might get lit up here as I'm crossing, but we can see I'm actually lighting up all of the tanks towards the north, and finally the EBR spots me. Luckily for me, I've already made it through the danger zone. We're going through the final bushes here, and we're actually getting a little bit of assistance against the EBR, so we don't really have to worry about them too much, and we're going to get easy shots. into that sneaky wheeled vehicle. And hopefully... Is he just going to sit there? What's he doing? Looks like he's trying to snipe at the 704. I don't think they really expected the 430U to cross so easily. And that's what's crazy about this tank. This vehicle, to all intents and purposes, is a heavy tank inside the medium tank class. But it has the camo of a medium tank. It actually has really good camo. And so this vehicle, it has the same kind of impact as a heavy. It doesn't have quite as many hit points. And I'd say its armor isn't really great for a heavy tank, but it wouldn't be bad if it was a heavy tank. But just to have all of the extra camo is outrageous. I'm going to reload a high explosive round here, a little bit greedy, but ooh, we're rewarded with 554 damage there. And unfortunately, now without the gun rammer, this could be quite ugly. The bat chat actually manages to pen me, which I'm a bit surprised about. Oh no, the Kampfpanzer gets a shot into the back of my turret. But at least I managed to get rid of the bat chat. And things looking pretty good because, look, we've managed to get to the D4 area. And because we've got to the D4 area, we get to spot. This is just such a powerful play to make early on in Corellia. You should do this in every single one of your light tanks. And your fast medium tanks, if you can think that you can get into a position without getting caught, oh, it's going to be totally worth it as well. Because you just light up so much of the enemy team. We're actually a little bit unlucky here. Usually there are a lot more vehicles, and oh, what was that, man? Looks like we ricocheted off the well-angled side armor of the Centurion Action 10. Well, I feel like we get a little bit unlucky here, because for some reason, the whole of the enemy team has just ignored the middle, and they're just pushing the flanks. And I think it's a good tactic in a way. But it also is irritating for me, because I don't get to get all of that juicy spotting in the center like we usually do. So we're up to 2,800 combined in this game so far. It's not too bad. But one thing I'd like to highlight is that while the 430U has the armor, it has the camo. It's pretty sneaky within that regard. One thing this tank definitely doesn't have is the finesse on the gun. Especially if, like me, you don't use vertical stabilizers on this vehicle. Your firepower is pretty good. You've got a good rate of fire, got good pen, got good alpha. But man, your accuracy sucks on this tank, and your gun handling isn't great either. So if you want to have truly a medium tank that snipe with crazy good DPM and so on and so forth, pick the Object 140. It'll be the better vehicle for you. But this isn't a discussion about which Soviet medium tank is better. It's me playing the most overpowered tanks at tier 10. And the 430U is increasing its players win ratio more than any of the other tier 10 mediums. I think the CS63, if you're an incredible player, is probably going to be better for you. But if you're an average and a below average player, or even just a slightly above average player, I think you'll do way better in the 430U. Unless, like me, you just get hit by like 5 different tanks all at the same time. And unfortunately, we're only going to get like 4,200 combined in this battle. But I don't think I really made that much of a misplay with trying to farm. I think I had to farm. We're up by 3 tanks, 4 tanks, and we're up by like 8,000 hit points before I get shut down. So I don't think it's really that bad of a play to just be aggressive and try to grab everything that you can. Because when you are playing these overpowered vehicles, you want to try and get as much from each of your battles as you can. These tanks, they have really high requirements for you. You need to be able to grab as much as you possibly can from each of your battles. Alright, so we played the best medium tank. Now let's play the best light tank. And it is the Manticore. We can see not only is it giving its players the best win ratio, it's also reducing its players' win ratio by less than all of the other lights. And you might be thinking like, what? What do you mean reducing? And that's because light tanks end up with a lot of draws. Here we can see that 279E game with 3rd on experience, 2nd on damage. It's a terrible game for the 279E in that map and matchup. 3,700 combined is pathetic. We can see that I was probably looking to see how good the FE405 was, and they were a slightly above average player. And well played to them for absolutely crunching my 279E. Definitely made me feel very sad. I also want to highlight that I'd already played the Manticore today. That's why I don't have the 2 times experience possibility here on the Manticore. Not because I'm recording this video again. These truly are the games that these truly are the games that are played live for YouTube. That's the whole point of this video. That we just play live and I show you the vehicles like in their element. And while it might not be representative of the vehicle all the time, it's a lot better than me trying to cherry pick a game and to show you what the vehicle's capabilities are, right? And what should I say their min-max capabilities are. So I want to highlight that I'd already played the Manticore today because I played it to be able to do the Vinnie Jones mission. The mission to be able to get Vinnie Jones required you to get top 4 spotting on your team, which isn't really the hardest thing to do inside World of Tanks. But the Manticore is the best scout in the game. That's all there is to say. This is the best scout in World of Tanks. And so when I get onto a map like this, you see that I'm using vision system, coated optics, and I'm using exhaust. And I've got the directive as well, which will mean that my enemy is spotted for 15 seconds if I can keep my reticle on them. I will outspot the T100 LT unless I play badly. That's all there is to say. So all I have to do is make sure I don't suck, get into the bush line. I've got probably about 5% better camo when I'm moving than the T100 LT. But I'm actually going to make a mistake. Look in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and you can see that I have auto forwards on because I'm being lazy. And lol. So I lost 10% of my hit points there because I had auto forwards on. And even though I let go of my W key just before the ridge line, the auto forward says no. So yeah, don't be an idiot like I was there, and don't auto forward over ridge. So we won the 430U game. Great result there. I would have liked a little bit more, but oh well, I got caught, got slammed in the side. And while the 430U has really good frontal armor, it doesn't have great side armor or rear armor. So as I was saying, I've got 10 meters better view range than the T100 LT. And there you go. He gets spotted. I'm calling in the shots. I fire at him. I don't get spotted because we were behind multiple bushes. And that's just an example of where the Manticore is the best tier 10 scout. There's no other way to say it. This is the best tier 10 scout inside World of Tanks. Now, while its, should we say, firepower is absolutely lacking, it has awful damage per minute. It doesn't have bad pen or bad alpha, which really make up for this vehicle's poor damage per minute. But its aim time of 1.9 seconds isn't too bad. Its accuracy of 0.38 isn't great. But yeah, this thing isn't killing anything quickly. It really isn't. However, what the vehicle is capable of doing is being more sneaky than the enemy team. So what I'd like to draw attention to here is that I'm assessing my team's, should we say, what I expect from my team with regards to how quickly they'll kill a tank if I spot something. Because there's no point in thinking that you've got a huge gun line behind you and then holding your ground and then allowing the enemy to get close enough to you so they spot you, right? You want to know how likely it is that an enemy tank is going to get completely obliterated so that you know whether you have to run or not. And if that T100 LT, for example, or one of the other mediums had come closer towards me, it's important to know about what your chances are of whether you have to get away or whether your team are actually worth spotting for. So you could see that it actually took about like 20 seconds for my Leopard and my Conway to react, but now they're actually doing the damage. And I could tell that because when I was looking back at the Conway, they were on the to the west of the mound of protection that's in front of them, that little barricade in front of them. So I knew it would take them some time to lumber over to the Leopard and to be able to get those shots in. And that's something that's very important, is it's not just about spotting in World of Tanks, it's about effective spotting. It's about knowing how to not only spot your opponents, but spot them in positions where your team are going to be able to handle them. So I'm going to go forwards here, I'm going to spot a Gorilla, and I'm thinking like I can fall back, and I think I should be able to shoot through this bush fine. I'm going to wait for them to start to move, because then I'll have an opportunity to be able to, I thought they'll pull back around the corner. But bizarrely enough, that bush doesn't keep me hidden, and I get spotted. And I lose 752 hit points there, which is horrendous. I only deal 382 damage to the Gorilla, and I take double that in return. Awful trades. Now I'm down to being a one-shot for the Gorilla, a possible one-shot for tanks like the Minotauro, or even artillery if they manage to hit me. I was a bit worried about the pattern possibly spotting me there, but it doesn't actually look like it's the case, so it should be okay. And now we have a Leopard, and it looks like another Leopard making their way in to hopefully be able to support me. So in this kind of a situation, we've done alright. We've done 2,500 combined. But if you want to 3-mark the Minotauro, you need to be getting like 4,800 combined. So while we've done our job, we won our flank with regards to the scouting, we still got some more work to do. So I'm just wondering if I can afford to go after this Pat in the tank, or if he's going to try and go after us. We can see that the Leopard gets a shot in, but the Leopard's actually spotting the Pat in the tank themselves. And I'm going to do something very interesting here. I'm going to wait for the Pat in the tank to be just enough around the corner so that their viewports can't see me when I fire. So that is quite a high-end thing to do. but it's definitely something that you can add to your repertoire, to your arsenal inside World of Tanks, to be able to deal with your opponents, especially in your lights, but also in all your vehicles. Remain unspotted by waiting for the enemy team to drive around the corner, and then shoot them in the very rear of the vehicle, and you should be able to hit them and still stay unspotted, which will allow you to then be able to hopefully get more shots into them. So we're going against the Minotauro here. I don't want to get hit, but oh. Well, I guess that Leopard prototype couldn't get hit there. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a shimmy to the right and then swing to the left. So hopefully this Minotauro isn't going to catch us. Put a round in, put ourselves up to 4,000 combined, and oh, my team capped? Oh, well, that changes things. What are you going to do? And funnily enough, the game actually keeps extending because of the 5 seconds. So I think, well, I can come around and get a shot. At least I can come around and bounce a gold round off the the Minotauro just to give myself a little bit more ammunition cost. So now I'm going to say that, oh, this is going really quickly. I've got more than enough time to play lots of games. Little did I know that I was going to mute my microphone for 30 minutes of the video, or 35 minutes of the video, so I'll have to be recording post-game commentary as well. This is turning into the mammoth of all videos, but I hope it's worth it. Look, if you appreciate the pain and the effort that I've gone to over these last 45 days nearly of releasing daily YouTube videos, man, I'd really appreciate the likes or dislikes on the video, comments, anything. Try and help feed that YouTube algorithm into distributing my terrible content to everyone. And it's also scary right now how much I feel that I'm at the mercy of the algorithm. I feel like I haven't said enough for people to subscribe over the years, you know? And I think that a lot of people still find my videos by it just popping up in their feeds rather than actually like subscribing. And maybe they'll lose touch. So that's life. That's YouTube. But yeah, no, I really appreciate you all. I'm going to talk about more of this, I think, on New Year's Eve, so to say, in that New Year's Eve video. Maybe, possibly. But yeah, it's been a great ride over the last 45 days. I really appreciate seeing all of your comments, and I hope they keep coming. Thank you all very much. Okay, so now I'm going to play the T100 LT because the games are going so fast. And I'm going to tell my team, win hill first. And I'm looking at what kind of tanks will help. So I'm going to ask the T100 LT to help me. And then I'm going to ping the map. And if you do that, if they do say, like, I will help you, then it shows on the map where you're going. So, nice little bit of a tip. And if both of us go up on the hill, we should be able to win the fight against the Manticore. Because the T100 LT, it has the armor, but it has the damage per minute. So we can easily outmuscle the Manticore. I could probably ram the Manticore as well, but I don't want to ram the Manticore and then get caught by the Progetto, so I'm actually not going to do that. So make a bit of a misplay at the start. I missed my shot, but I'm going to make up for it now with a great shot into not only the tracks, but also the engine. Unfortunately for me, the Progetto uses a fire extinguisher, unlike me, right? This E50, they seem to be in a little bit of a fluster right now. They're looking at the bat chat, they're looking at the T100 LT, and I've just got to keep going after these tanks. Now the E50 is blocking the Manticore, and this is just perfection, really, for the T100 LT. This tank is damage per minute. And even without a gun rammer, you can see that I'm not using one here. I should probably have one in a second build. We're still able to just keep out-damaging the enemy team. Unfortunately, we lose our ammo rack, and I believe we lost our driver as well to the Manticore. But that doesn't matter because we seem to be winning the hill so well. But I'm going to make the biggest misplay of this battle now, and that is that I didn't think about the E75 in the side. And so, while great, I got a shot into the Progetto, I took 500. Is that 90 damage from the E75? Meaning that I'm now like a one-shot for everyone. Luckily, I avoid getting caught by the Progetto there, otherwise I'd look like a bit of an idiot. And we've won the hill. That's huge. We've destroyed 3 tanks, we've lost no tanks, we've kept our gun in the game, and let's find out whether having a gun in the game, even though we've only got 240 hit points, is going to be enough. This is one of the big things about winning in World of Tanks. Getting the early frags on the enemy team. You get guns out the game, and as long as you can stay alive, irrelevant of how many hit points left, they're a resource. you spend your hit points to make frags to then get more guns in the game to overwhelm your opponents. And all of the vehicles that you're going to see me play today, apart from the Manticore, they're well armored, right? Think about it. 279E, great armor. 430U, great armor. Manticore, not so much. T100 LT, great armor. And what do you think is going to be the most overpowered tank destroyer to play? Well, yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. You'll be seeing. Don't worry. Just got a few minutes more to wait. So in this kind of a situation, I've switched out to gold rounds because this vehicle has atrocious penetration on its standard ammunition. But its gold rounds are not too bad. They're not great. They're about like 240, 248, I think. It's probably the worst pen of any of the tier 10 light tanks. The others have like 280 heat, right? Rheinmetall 280 heat, Sheridan 280 heat, AMX 13105, all of those 280 heat. So that's definitely one of the downsides of the T100 LT. Which means that it's more than it makes it even more impressive, is what I'm trying to say. That this vehicle is still packing a better win ratio than all of those other tanks. Or at least it's giving its players a better win ratio difference. So we're just clearing out the trash here, you know. Get rid of that Manticore. Yeah, we've wrecked you. And now we're going to hopefully take down the game. And this was it's just quintessential, right? In the previous battle, I out-scouted the enemy T100 LT in my Manticore, and I won. And in this battle, I out-fought the enemy Manticore, and I'm most likely going to win, because we are up by 8 tanks, and we're up by 5,000 hit points as well. And that's just really... It's just the prime example of Manticore and T100 LT, really. There's no better way of showing it, really. How many times I'm going to say really? A lot of times I'm going to say really? Yeah, probably. I feel like I'm actually almost doubling the commentary that I have to have in here, because quite often when I'm like gearing up a shot, I stop talking. So I think in today's video, you're actually getting probably more QuickyBaby than you otherwise would. More QuickyBaby commentary. And you're getting live QuickyBaby and post-game QuickyBaby as some kind of like QuickyBabyception. And now, man, I'm just happy that the bat chat didn't catch me earlier, because if they had caught me, it wouldn't have been great. And I'm going to highlight now, I think I'm going to point to it even in a second, that once again we do 4,100 combined. That's all we seem to be getting today, is this 4,000 combined. We're doing so consistent, QuickyBaby. Yes, we are, because we're playing these great tanks, these OP tanks with great armor that allow us to be able to make these plays early. And that is all you have to do with these great tanks. Be aggressive, take the fight to the enemy team, out-muscle them with your armor, and look, we finished second on damage, second on experience. I'd quite like to get a gun rammer, I think. You can see the Manticore wasn't the best of players. I was hoping they were, honestly. I was hoping they were, because every time that you manage to win the battle against a good player, it really highlights the tank differences. Okay, so what is the best tank destroyer? Well, unsurprisingly, it is the Minotauro. The Minotauro is the best, and I'm highlighting here that the Ho-Ri actually has a better win ratio than the Minotauro, but look at the win ratio of the players who play the Ho-Ri. It's nearly 54%, whereas the Minotauro, the average win ratio is less than 51.5%, but it's getting a 52% overall win ratio. So with the Ho-Ri 3, the best players are playing it, and they're actually getting worse win ratio than they have on average. Whereas with the Minotauro, good players are playing it, and they're getting better win ratio than they have on average, which is why I would suggest that the Ho-Ri 3 is the most not the Ho-Ri 3, sorry. The Minotauro is the most overpowered tier 10 tank destroyer. Now, if you were just looking at it as like, what tank wins the most battles? Sure, it's the Ho-Ri 3, but that's just because the best players are playing it, and it's completely understandable, right? If you've got a bunch of 60% win ratio sweat lords, if they go and get 55% wins, that makes the tank terrible, because they're getting 5% less wins. Whereas, if you've got a load of 55% win rate players, and they're going and packing 60% win ratio in a vehicle, then that's where the vehicle is insanely good. And that's what makes a tank overpowered in World of Tanks. So look at me adjusting my position. Did you know, QuickyBaby fact number whatever, in this video, I sit cross-legged while I'm playing video games. I know, I'm not sure that's going to be very good for me in the long run, but I'm 36 now, and it doesn't seem to be doing anything wrong for me now. My knees feel pretty okay. I don't know. Maybe a good idea, maybe a bad idea. Gives me good posture. I feel like it allows me to sit down for a little while. It keeps me very balanced. I'm not sure if it's good. Who knows? Maybe. But I'd still get up every few hours, right? Apart from now, when I'm having to record half an hour of post-game commentary, and the whole purpose of these videos is that it's live, so I don't know. That is life. That is the wonderful nature of being a YouTuber. So now, Uncle QuickyBaby here is highlighting to you why the Minotauro is just crazy. It's crazy because you see those weak points on top that I just highlighted? The ones at the front aren't actually weak points. The only weak point that this vehicle has is the one in the middle at the back. So if you're using your gun depression, if the tank's using its gun depression, then you can't even hit that weak point on the Minotauro. Everything about this tank is insane. It basically is just as good as a heavy with regards to its armor, but it kind of has tank destroyer levels of damage per minute. And what's really mad about this vehicle is you could be ammo-racked with a dead loader, and you could be stunned by artillery, but your intra-clip reload stays the same. It doesn't increase. It's a hard fixed number that's not affected by anything inside the game. So if you have a full mag, you are firing every 8 seconds until you have no more shells. Now, of course, after, it could take you a long time to be able to get the shots in, to be able to fire again. But that's beside the point. And it means that the Minotauro, it's so consistent in the fight, and it consistently gets that damage out. Now I've reloaded heat here because I just want to get rid of the Jaeger. That's a terrifying tank. This is still a very scary vehicle for me. It's literally got double my alpha damage, but it's also got 420mm of heat pen. But my heat pen, which I believe is 340 or 330, still enough to be able to go through the cheeks of the Jaeger. Looks like the Jaeger misses the shot. And I'm thinking, like, do I go for this mouse? Do I go for this Jagdpanzer? I'd really rather kill the Jagdpanzer now, because that's the one that could have the 420 heat and the high alpha. I'm not really too worried about the mouse, especially considering the mouse is using bad equipment and hasn't painted their tank. And I'm actually going to reload now. And the reason why I'm going to reload now is because the E100 is ready. If I fire one shot with him and he fires one shot at me, I have to spend 20 seconds reloading. Whereas if I just reload, I don't have to spend that 8 seconds. I just have to spend 12 seconds extra reloading. And then I could fire 2 when I take the chance against him to be able to finish him off. So you've got to think sneaky like that in the Minotauro. It's not enough to just keep firing until your gun is dry. You've also got to consider about sneaking in reloads to be able to keep that DPM going. And by sneaking those reloads in to keep the DPM going, that's where this thing's just mad. And look, we've already won this game. It's done. It's over. We're up 3 kills. We're up 5,000 hit points. And this mouse is about to lose 2,500 hit points for their team. But I have to admit, I am aiming like a complete noob right now. What am I doing? Just shoot at the cheeks. It's an easy tank to hit. Luckily, we put one into the lower plate, but I missed 1,000 damage there, which is unforgivable. And then, look, I'm actually going to miss 1,500 damage. Although that was a little bit unlucky. That one could have gone in. But I should just shot the guy in the cheeks. I'm going to take my first bit of damage this game from the mouse. But it doesn't really matter. The EBR's farming. The Concept's farming. The E50's farming. Everyone's farming apart from me because I aim like a noob. And only put like 1 out of 4 in against a mouse. Oh well. So, I was just highlighting that we've already won this game. We've already won this game. We won because we just pushed. I pushed. I enabled my allies to be able to come with me, and that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do in a vehicle like this. The Jagdpanzer E100 just got farmed, and if you farm the entirety of a tank on the enemy team while taking no damage and allow your allies to gain positional advantages, you will win a stonking amount of games. This vehicle is so good for a free-to-play player as well. I would thoroughly recommend you check out my masterclass video on the Minotauro if you want to know exactly why, but I'll give you the short version. So this tank, it can't use a gun rammer, right? It doesn't matter if you have a regular gun rammer, a bounty gun rammer, or a bond gun rammer. You can't use it. But it doesn't matter if you use regular vents, bounty vents, or bond vents. It doesn't matter whether you use a premium consumable, because that 8-second intra-clip reload is always an 8-second intra-clip reload. One of the things that paying to win in World of Tanks does is it gives you a vastly better rate of fire. Well, in the Minotauro, paying to win by using a premium consumable and like using bond vents, it's only going to make you reload your magazine a little bit quicker. But the problem is the unloading speed. So it's like this double-edged sword in a way. The Minotauro is so consistent, it doesn't matter if it gets stunned, ammo racked or if your loader dies, it's still going to be plugging away at 8 seconds. But if you're a complete pay-to-win player, unfortunately, your reload is always your intra-click reload is always going to be 8 seconds. So it's kind of like a mixed blessing, but it means that if you're a free-to-play player out there, I thoroughly recommend the Minotauro. I have been chonking like 70% wins easy on this tank, even on my free-to-play account. If you have a good turbo, or you've got a Bond turbo, whack it on this vehicle, and all you have to do is basically just grind into your opponents, and you will just absolutely smash. So 5,100 damage dealt. A little bit of a step up on the 4,000 combined that we were managing. And all in all, just a smashing game for the Minotauro. Look at this. Uncle QuickyBaby is going to sit back, relax. He's done talking. Or at least he thinks he's done talking. No, he's actually got an extra half an hour talking because he thought it would be nice to mute the microphone so I didn't cough in the YouTube video. That's great. But you know what, you idiot? If you're going to mute the microphone, unmute the microphone so you don't have to do half an hour of extra work afterwards. But you know what? I hope it was all fun for you. So now I'm going to highlight, oh, I got lots of wins. Oh, but you were only, what do you mean you've played 8 times today, Uncle QuickyBaby? Well, yeah, that's because I was doing the Vinny missions, right, with the Badger. But still, 7 out of 8 wins, 2 kills a game, 4,700 combined at tier 10. It's unsurprising. I am playing the most overpowered vehicles at tier 10. Why wouldn't I be getting the best results inside them? It makes perfect sense that you'll be having these great results in these great tanks. And this is where I draw the conclusion, which I kind of hinted to earlier. All of the tanks that you see today that are improving their owners' win ratios more than other tanks are because they have great armor. They have great armor. Armor is the key. It's the armor that makes all of these vehicles outrageous. There are hardly any tanks in the game where they're overpowered because of the firepower. Think about the FE405, for example. The FE405 is the vehicle that has the worst armor probably in World of Tanks. But it has some of the best firepower in World of Tanks. It's the hardest hitter, 1,750, but it means absolutely nothing. Armor, irrelevant of what people say with, you know, the gold pen and this, I can't play because everyone's spamming gold at me. That's not true. Everyone has gold rounds fired at them. And what it's about is how you just play outside of losing your hit points. Just try and make better trades. You're going to lose your hit points. That's the way the game works. But just try your best to still make as effective trades and put yourself in positions against tanks that you can put your advantages against their disadvantages, right? That's what he's saying. Now I think Uncle QuickyBaby's probably saying, like, please like my video. I need the likes because the YouTube algorithm is killing me right now in this Christmas period. Yeah, maybe possibly. Is he going to say something more? And he's saying, oh, and let me know in the comments down below what do you think about these vehicles? Do you think they're great? Do you think that they're not great? And then, unfortunately, now I think is going to be the dawning of, oh my goodness, was my mic muted the entire time? Oh no, he's got something more that he wants to say. Oh, and as always, you've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon. And then back to reality immediately afterwards. Oh, God. And then I'm going to see that the mic was muted soon. I'm going to see that the mic was muted soon. Oh, no. Where's... Oh, that dawning feeling of OMG. Oh, no, no, no. Am I going to have to record it all again? Ooh, feels bad, man. Oh, no. Anyway, yeah, hopefully this recording will have actually worked. I appreciate you all very much. I hope you didn't mind that I did the post commentary, but otherwise I felt like it would be cheating. Anyway, love you all very much. Hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I've said it again. Thanks for watching. Or at least, thanks for listening. You've been epic and hopefully I'll see you soon.